9 things that no longer matter after 70. A journey into freedom, peace, and the wisdom of letting go. There comes a time in life, not marked by a calendar or a clock, but by a quiet shift in the soul, when what once felt urgent now seems unimportant, when the applause of others fades in the distance, and the only voice that matters is your own. That time is often around 70, not because the body slows, but because the heart finally speeds up toward truth. What follows are 9 things that slowly dissolve in meaning after 70, and what replaces them in the soul's quiet revolution. 1. The craving for approval. When we're young, we build our identities like castles, brick by brick, shaped by every compliment, every nod of agreement, every disapproving frown. We learn to contort ourselves to be acceptable, likable, appropriate. But somewhere around 70, something changes. You realize you've lived long enough to know who you are, and perhaps more importantly, who you're not. You no longer have the energy or the interest to perform. You no longer need to impress the neighbor with the perfect lawn, the relative with sharper opinions than empathy, or society's ever-shifting standards. You become sovereign, not rebellious, just released. You dress for comfort. You speak with calm clarity, and you learn that being real is more nourishing than being approved. 2. The weight of possessions. When you were 40, you wanted the bigger house. At 50, maybe the car that said, "I've made it." At 60, you had 2 sets of dinnerware for different kinds of guests and cupboards full of things you forgot you owned. But by 70, your soul whispers a different kind of success. Space, silence, simplicity. You begin to realize that objects are not memories. Clutter is not comfort, and that joy doesn't come from what fills a room, but what fills a moment. So you let go of shoes you no longer wear, gifts you kept out of guilt, furniture that crowds not just the room but your peace. You give it away, you donate it, you breathe again, because now you understand, less isn't lack, it's liberation. 3. Obligations without meaning. You once went to weddings you didn't want to attend, smiled through dinners you didn't enjoy, nodded through conversations that drained your spirit, because it was expected. But now, you begin to choose yourself. You still love people, yes, but you love your peace more. You've paid your dues to the calendar, to the crowd, to the culture of politeness. Now, you choose what feeds your soul, not just your schedule. You may skip the gathering, but take a quiet walk at dusk. You may decline the invite, but send your love in silence. This is not withdrawal. It is discernment, the art of spending time like the precious currency it is. 4. The illusion of youthful beauty. There was a time when the mirror was a battlefield. Wrinkles were enemies, gray hairs were traitors, and age was something to be resisted. But now you see it differently. Each line around your eyes is a bookmark of laughter. Each silver strand is a thread in the fabric of your story. You no longer chase society's moving target of perfection. You begin to understand, real beauty was never about smooth skin, it was about soft eyes, kind words, inner calm. You don't need the world to call you beautiful anymore. You've become beauty itself in the way you listen, in the way you forgive, in the way you show up without needing to prove anything. 5. Old activities that no longer sing. Sometimes the things we used to love stop loving us back. The game, the club, the routine. It all becomes more of a duty than a joy, and that's okay. You no longer cling to what used to be fun. You allow your interests to evolve. You let new passions bloom, quiet ones, private ones. Maybe it's reading under a tree. Maybe it's learning to sketch. Maybe it's nothing more than sitting in silence, watching the birds make their way home. You learn that life isn't about constantly doing. It's about deeply being. And you no longer apologize for choosing rest over rush. 6. Tolerating toxicity. You spent years walking on eggshells, managing people's moods, avoiding conflict, biting your tongue. But now you've earned your peace. You no longer keep people in your life just because they've always been there. You no longer endure relationships that bruise your spirit. Whether it's a judgmental sibling, a manipulative friend, or a draining acquaintance, You walk away quietly, not to hurt them, but to heal you. You choose softness, safety, reciprocity. You surround yourself with people who nourish you, not deplete you. You realize peace is not negotiable anymore. 7. The game of comparison. There's always someone richer, healthier, more successful, or seemingly so. But now you look at life not as a competition, but as a collection of seasons, of stories, of scars. You no longer measure yourself by someone else's timeline. You stop asking, "Am I enough?" and start whispering, "This is mine." Your journey, your rhythm, your kind of joy. You realize that what you have is not less. It's simply different. And different is beautiful. 8. Outdated dreams. You once wanted the corner office, the perfect retirement plan, the 5-year goal list. But at 70, you start writing a different kind of dream, the kind measured in moments, not milestones. You realize it's okay to outgrow old ambitions. It's not quitting, it's evolving. You don't need to prove anything anymore. You've already lived enough to know that success is not a destination. It's a state of being. You now define success by how often you smile in a day, how much silence you can enjoy without anxiety, how deeply you sleep at night. And the dream now? Peace, meaning, connection, rest. 9. Guilt for choosing yourself. Perhaps this is the heaviest burden of all. The quiet, lingering guilt that says, "Shouldn't I be doing more for others?" But after 70, you finally understand. Your happiness isn't selfish. It's sacred. You've raised children, paid bills, buried loved ones, wiped away others' tears while holding your own. Now it's your time to laugh at your own jokes, to take naps in the afternoon without apology, to say yes to what excites you and no to what doesn't. You stop shrinking to make others comfortable. You stop apologizing for joy, because your joy is a legacy in itself. Closing thought. Letting go is not loss, it is lightness. At 70, life is not over, it's just quieter. Not empty, not lesser, but clearer. You no longer live to impress, accumulate, explain, or defend. You live to feel, to breathe, to be fully alive in the gentle, holy now. And so you let go of noise, of pressure, of illusions. You walk lighter, you smile easier, you hold space for what matters and release what doesn't. Because in the final chapters of life, the pages are more precious. And the ink you write with now is made not of ambition, but of wisdom. So write slowly, live gently, and above all, be free. If this message resonates with you, it's not by chance. It's because you've earned this kind of peace. Hit that subscribe button and join us on a journey through the timeless wisdom of the older generation. Don't miss a single life-changing lesson.